welcome to Zebra Studio. My name is Molly and it's good to see you today. Right, before you do anything, don't forget to like and to share and to subscribe. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Right, what am I going to be talking about today? I will be talking about, there's a question that everybody's been asking themselves, and I've been asking myself the same question as well. And the question is, Africa, do elections solve anything in Africa? Do our elections in Africa solve anything? I'm going to look at different answers from different people on a BBC News article. And I'm just going to look at the answers and perhaps chat a bit about them. But before I do that, don't forget to like and to share and to subscribe. So the question, that's the golden question. Do these elections in Africa really solve anything? Do they solve anything? Have they ever solved anything, these elections? And listen to what this guy says from America, Richard D. But he's from Liberia, and this is what he says. He says, it's very difficult to discuss the results of elections in Africa, especially the definition of elections in Africa, because of many factors. First of all, is the language. That's what he says. And he says that the opposition, according to elections in Africa, now becomes the enemy. We don't take it as a game. Because elections is like a game. It doesn't mean because my party has won, now the other tribe or whatsoever should suffocate and not get all the resources that they need just because they don't belong to my tribe. So if my tribe has won, that doesn't mean that the other party, the other tribe or anybody else who's not in part of my tribe should now be deprived of getting what they want just because I have won, because I'm a different tribe. So for instance, if I'm a Xhosa and then the Zulus don't win, then I'm the Xhosa, so that means the Zulus don't get anything. They don't get a fair trial, they don't get anything fair, that human rights are destroyed. So that's how we Africans look at elections. We don't see it as a game. Not only is it a game, but a way, it's for everybody. If you've lost, you've lost. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't, we should now deprive a certain tribe. Let's say the Zulu, like I said, the Xhosa win, they are in charge of South Africa, and then they win the most of the seats, and then that means the Zulus shouldn't get anything. So we need to change the way that we look at elections. Other parties are not your enemy. We are in this together. The other party we're not enemies. It's a job, and we need to unify and work together, regardless of who wins and who doesn't win. It's not the way that we look at it in Africa. So he says that, he goes on to say that if your opposition wins and you become the loser, your entire clan becomes the victim. People from your region will be subjected to persecution, torture, and any form of harassment. This is correct. This is right. It's happened in other countries. I think it's happened I think it's happened in Zimbabwe, because there's different tribes. So if you look at this, he's right. He says that so if your opposition party wins and you become the loser, so your entire clan becomes the victim. People from your region will be subjected to persecution, torture, and any form of harassment. So that's his opinion. Ross from Mozambique, this is what he says. He says that, obviously talking about the question that has elections actually solved any issues in Africa. Is there anything positive that elections have brought into Africa? And this is what Ross says from Mozambique. He says that all they do is to make politicians richer and the poor kill each other for nothing. So that's the question. The question is, do elections solve anything in Africa? And this is what Ross says. He says, the only thing that elections do, according to him, is that they make politicians more richer, and the poor kill each other for absolutely nothing. And this is what Ian says from Zimbabwe. He says that the only way a voting system works is if the voters are educated. If the voters are uneducated, they can be manipulated, which we see a lot in Africa. It happens a lot. I just speak about when the campaigns are done, they go into the slums and they go to where the people are not even aware of what's going on, buy them t-shirts and slaughter cows and, you know, and say, guys, we're going to look after you, okay, we're going to change things, we're going to build houses. That's what they do to get the consent from those people who are poor. So I think he's right when he says the only way a voting system works is if the voters are educated, if the voters are, because if they're uneducated, they can be manipulated by those already in power. And we see that a lot. For example, he makes an example that Mugabe is an example of this. He did say education first, then no lies. So, well, I don't know how he actually did that. So that's Ian. That's what he says.